Hello, welcome to Australian Citizenship class on YouTube.
Episode 33, Practice Test 3 from Part 3 of Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond. Before viewing the practice test questions in this video, it's a good idea to review Part 3 of the study booklet, Government and the Law in Australia. It covers topics such as, how do I have my say? Voting and raising matters with your representatives. How did we establish our system of government, federation, and the Australian Constitution? How is the power of government controlled? And who is Australia's head of state? Who are some of Australia's leaders? How is Australia governed? The House of Representatives? The Senate? State and territory government? And local government. What do the three levels of government do? What role do political parties play in the way Australia is governed? How is the Australian government formed? And how are laws made? How are laws enforced? Criminal and traffic offences in Australia. And remember, Our Common Bond is available in 40 community languages. Check to see if your language is on the list. You can print a copy of Our Common Bond in English as well as your own language for study. The videos on this channel have subtitles in lots of different languages as well. You'll find a video that explains every part of the text in Our Common Bond. Okay, let's get started on the test questions for Part 3. Question 1. In Australia, voting in an election is by secret ballot. This means A. Voting is compulsory in Australian elections, or if there are referenda on constitutional change. B. People vote privately, so no one can influence or pressure them to vote in a certain way. C. If you are not correctly enrolled, you are not able to vote in an election. Answer A. Voting is compulsory in Australian elections, or if there are referenda on constitutional change, is a true fact. But it's not the answer to this question. The question is asking about the words secret ballot. We need to find the answer that explains what this means. Answer C. If you are not correctly enrolled, you are not able to vote in an election, is also a true fact. But again, it is not the answer to this question because it doesn't explain what secret ballot means. Answer B is correct. A secret ballot is when people vote privately, so no one can influence or pressure them to vote in a certain way. No one is allowed to know whom you have voted for unless you choose to tell them. Question 2. Who can Australian citizens contact to raise their concerns about government policy? A. The Australian Electoral Commission, or AEC. B. Their preferred political party. C. Their elected representative. Answer A. The Australian Electoral Commission, or AEC, is not correct. The AEC is independent of the government and cannot be influenced by political parties or people in the government. The AEC's only role is to conduct federal elections and referendums and maintain the Commonwealth electoral roll. Answer B, the preferred political party, is not the best answer either. Answer C is correct. Only elected representatives have the power to take citizens' concerns to Parliament. Members of Parliament, or MPs for short, have a duty to listen to the views of the people in their electorate and represent those views in the Australian Parliament or state parliament. So if you are concerned about decisions being made in government, talk to your local MP. That's what they are there for. Question 3. When did the colonies unite into a federation of states called the Commonwealth of Australia? A. 1st of January, 1901. B. 26th of January, 1788. C. 25th of April, 1915. Answer B, 26th of January, 1788, is when the first 11 convict ships, which became known as the First Fleet, arrived from Great Britain. It is not when the colonies united into a federation of states. Answer C, 25th of April, 1915, is when the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, or ANZACs for short, landed at Gallipoli in Turkey during World War I. We commemorate Anzac Day each year on the 25th of April, as we remember the sacrifice of all Australians who served and died in wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations. It is not when the colonies united into a federation of states. Answer A, 1st of January, 1901 is correct. On the 1st of January, 1901, the separate colonies of New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, and Western Australia were united into a federation of states called the Commonwealth of Australia. Question 4. In a referendum, there needs to be a double majority for the Australian Constitution to be changed. This means A. The Australian Constitution divides the power of government between the legislative, executive, and judicial powers. B. Both the majority of voters in a majority of states and a majority of voters across the nation must vote for the change. C. The Australian people can change the Australian Constitution by voting in a referendum. Answer A. The Australian Constitution divides the power of government between the legislative, executive, and judicial powers is true, but not the answer to this question. Whilst it is true that the Australian Constitution divides the power of government between the legislative, Parliament, executive, for example, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, and judicial powers, judges, to stop one person or one group from holding all the power, this answer doesn't explain what a double majority is. Answer C. The Australian people can change the Australian Constitution by voting in a referendum is also a true fact, but still doesn't explain what a double majority is. Answer B is correct. A double majority is when both the majority of voters in a majority of states and a majority of voters across the nation vote for a change to the Constitution. Question 5. The executive power, which includes the Prime Minister, Australian government ministers, and the Governor-General, is the power A. to put the laws into practice, B. to make laws, C. to interpret and apply the law. Answer A, the executive power is the power to put laws into practice, is the correct answer to this question. The executive power carries out laws and puts them into action through government agencies. Question 6. Australia's head of state is A, the Prime Minister, B, the Governor-General, C, the King of Australia. Answer A, the Prime Minister, is not the correct answer. The Prime Minister is the leader of the Australian government, but not the head of state. Answer B, the Governor-General, is also not correct. The Governor-General acts as the King's representative in Australia. Answer C, the King of Australia, is correct. Australia is a constitutional monarchy, which means that the King is Australia's head of state, but has to act in accordance with the Constitution. Question 7. When the Governor-General signs a bill so that it becomes a law, it is called A, approving the appointment of the Australian government and its ministers, B, royal assent, C, starting the process for a federal election. Answer A, approving the appointment of the Australian government and its ministers, is one of the duties of the Governor-General, but this answer doesn't describe the process of signing off on a bill to become a law. Answer C, starting the process for a federal election, is another duty of the Governor-General, but again, this isn't referring to a bill being signed off and becoming a law. Answer B is correct. After the House of Representatives and the Senate have considered, debated, and voted in favor of a bill, it is then passed on to the Governor-General. When the Governor-General signs a bill so that it becomes a law, it is called royal assent. Question 8. The leader of a state government is called A, a premier, B, a mayor or shire president, C, a prime minister. Answer B, a mayor or shire president, is not correct. These are words we use to describe the leader of a local government. Answer C is also incorrect. We know that the prime minister is the leader of the Australian government. Answer A is correct. The leader of a state government is called a premier. Question 9. Other names for the Australian government are A, the lower house or the people's house, the upper house or the state's house, C, the federal government or the Commonwealth government. Answer A, the lower house or the people's house, are other names we use for the House of Representatives, so A is not correct. Answer B, the upper house or the state's house, are other names we use for the Senate, so B is not correct. Answer C is correct. Other names for the Australian government are the federal government or the Commonwealth government. Question 10. The number of MPs for each state and territory, A, is based on the number of people in that state or territory, B, is equal regardless of the size or population of the area, C, depends on the needs of the community in that area. Answer B is incorrect. It describes how senators are chosen for the 76 seats in the Senate. All states are equally represented in the Senate, regardless of their size or population. But this question is asking about MPs, or members of parliament, who sit in the House of Representatives. Answer C is getting closer, but still not quite correct. Answer A is correct. The number of MPs for each state and territory is based on the number of people in that state or territory. Question 11. Whose job is it to consider, debate, and vote on new laws or changes to laws and discuss matters of national importance? A. Members of Parliament. B. Senators. C. Both members of Parliament and senators. The correct answer is C. Both members of Parliament and senators consider, debate, and vote on new laws or changes to the laws and discuss matters of national importance. Question 12. The Australian government is responsible for A. Rubbish collection. B. Police and ambulance services. C. Immigration and citizenship. Answer A is not correct because rubbish collection is the responsibility of local government. Answer B is not correct because police and ambulance services are the responsibility of state and territory government. Answer C is correct. The Australian government is responsible for immigration and citizenship. Question 13. Local governments are responsible for A. Hospitals and health services. B. Parks, playgrounds, swimming pools, and sports grounds. C. Employment assistance. Answer A is not correct because hospitals and health services are the responsibility of state and territory governments. Answer C is not correct because employment assistance is the responsibility of the Australian government. Answer B is correct. Local governments are responsible for parks, playgrounds, swimming pools, and sports grounds. Question 14. In Australia, people A. are free to join a political party if they choose. B. must join a political party if they wish to vote for that party. C. cannot join a political party unless they were born in Australia. Answer A is correct. In Australia, people are free to join a political party if they choose. Question 15. The key decision-making body of government, which is made up of ministers with the most important portfolios, is called A. the coalition. B. the cabinet. C. the opposition. Answer A is not correct. A coalition is the joining of two or more political parties. For example, if after an election there is no party with a majority in the House of Representatives, two parties with similar ideas might join to form a coalition so that together they have enough people to form a government. Answer C, the opposition, is not correct. After a federal election, the party or coalition of parties with the second largest number of members in the House of Representatives forms the opposition. The opposition's role in Australian Parliament is to scrutinise, criticise, and hold the government accountable. Answer B is correct. The key decision-making body of government, which is made up of ministers with the most important portfolios, is called the cabinet. Question 16. If a member of the Australian Parliament proposes to introduce a new law or change an existing one, this proposal is called A. a majority, B. a bill, C. an independent. Answer B is correct. If a member of the Australian Parliament proposes to introduce a new law or change an existing one, this proposal is called a bill. Question 17. A jury, A, is a group of ordinary Australian citizens randomly chosen from the general population. B, decides if a person is innocent or guilty in court. C, both answers A and B are correct. C, both answers A and B are correct. A jury is a group of ordinary Australian citizens randomly chosen from the general population who decide if a person is innocent or guilty in court. Question 18. Police in Australia. A, decide if a person is guilty or not. B, protect life and property. C, both answers A and B are correct. Answer B is correct. Police in Australia protect life and property. Why is answer A not correct? If the police believe that someone has broken the law, they can arrest them and bring them before a court of law. The police may give evidence in court, but it is the court that decides if a person is guilty or not. Question 19. Domestic and family violence. A, includes behavior or threats that aim to control a partner by causing fear or threatening their safety. B, is not accepted and is against the law in Australia. C, both answers A and B are correct. C, both answers A and B are correct. Domestic and family violence includes behavior or threats that aim to control a partner by causing fear or threatening their safety, and it is not accepted and is against the law in Australia. Question 20. To drive a car in Australia, A, you must ensure that everybody traveling in the car is wearing a seatbelt. B, you must have a local driver's license, and the car must be registered. C, both answers A and B are correct. C, both answers A and B are correct. To drive a car in Australia, you must ensure that everybody traveling in the car is wearing a seatbelt, and you must have a local driver's license, and the car must be registered. How did you go with the practice test questions? Remember that you can go back and re-watch any of the videos on this channel to help you review and prepare for the citizenship test. That's it for today's episode. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments section. I'll do my best to help in any way I can. If you found this video helpful, please click on subscribe and like to help me grow this channel. This will also help you see when new episodes are ready to watch. See you in the next episode.